and welcome to The View from Sibos. I'm here with Guy Gillard, Executive Vice President of Bangkok Bank. Ian, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
So to start with, the bank is going through a lot of changes and really modernising, and there's the move towards the callless bank infrastructure. Can you explain to us how that works?
Yeah, so we have a whole update to our digital channels. Currently, we've got about 5 to 7 million customers. Depending on how you'll count them as distinct customers on digital. We've got major investments going on in the mobile space. We just updated BangkokBank.com, which is on Azure. We are investing in the integration infrastructure. We have a whole hybrid integration infrastructure strategy going on at the minute with streaming, containerization, and we also have updates to the core systems, but we're trying to minimize that, honestly, so that we can try and deliver more value to the customers. Probably most of the investment on the core systems is to do with really making them 24/7, because digital customers demand things to always be on. And so there's a whole series of investments, all layers, a really large increase in our investment in technology. The difference between Bangkok Bank and other banks are that we're actually in 15 economies, so we're right here in London too. And so we're also investing in the international network and moving customers there to digital channels too. So the callless bank actually is kind of an evolution of our involvement with Bayan. Originally, Bayan was to do with trying to reduce the cost of integration. It was like SOA, like standardizing a service-oriented architecture. In the last 3 years, we've moved towards standardizing APIs. And the callless bank is actually us working with some major technology vendors to try and move towards banking as a service, so that say currently we have a core system from vendor A, and another vendor has a pricing module or an FX module which is better and which runs in the cloud or even runs internally but exposed via APIs. The callless bank allows us to kind of decompose banking so that we can invoke services from different vendors. Obviously, it's an objective. The things they're showing here at Sibos, actually are showing that in real operation with real software. But we're just moving along that path now towards the callless bank. And
you said that the bank is really working more with the Bayan initiative as well now. So can you explain what it is that the bank's looking to achieve now?
Yeah, so what we're doing, there's a couple of, so one thing is currently we have a developer portal, but it only has 4 APIs in it. They're kind of like, but we do have API management so that we can monitor who's using them and we can stop things like DDoS attacks. If you look at APIs in banking, there are APIs we expose for our own apps, and we obviously have a large number of them. There are APIs we expose to partners. So examples of partners are partners like AirAsia, which is based in KL, but there's AirAsia Thailand, or companies like Line, which is a big messaging app, which is kind of like WhatsApp. Those APIs, currently each bank has a different version, or they adopt that partner's API because they're already in business. Open banking in Thailand, we don't currently have the legislation for it. So what we're doing actually with Bayan at the minute is we are our own APIs that we're developing for partners. Rather than us writing to each partner's APIs, we're actually just now, the guy actually starts on the 1st of October, who's going to lead this for me. We're just now starting a strategy, a partner API strategy for a developer portal where they'll have to register for it. Obviously, the difference with partner APIs is we have contracts with those partners, so liability and things like that, the terms of service are there. And we're also working with Bayan and actually the Thai Central Bank, the Bank of Thailand, to see can we get the other Thai banks to agree for us to use Bayan as an open banking standard in Thailand. The big advantage of that would be that a fintech that came into Thailand would only have to understand one set of APIs. Currently, if they come into Thailand, there are, I think, 14 or 15 banks. The top 4 banks, we're the top in some measure. The top 4 banks are 80% of the market. And so if a fintech comes into Thailand, it's pretty inefficient and for the local economy. So that's kind of where we are with that. We're just now really engaging with Bayan to deploy the APIs.
Okay, great. And just to wrap up now, so Thailand's moving towards chip and pin cards away from the kind of the traditional strip method on the cards. So how is that process happening? How are things moving along?
Yeah, actually, we were the first Thai bank to launch chip and pin. I think we launched chip and pin in 2009, and we did it before there was a mandate. Okay, and so we started with credit card, and then we updated all the ATMs, all the point of sale terminals, because in Thailand we have that. Then the central bank mandated it for ATM and debit. Okay, and so that's actually in place now. We had an advantage that we'd already done it, and so the other Thai banks had to do it when it came along, and it's had an incredibly profound effect on fraud, obviously, that was a successful thing. I think we could have probably marketed it better, because we had it exclusively for about 5 years, that's really been a big change. And in Thailand, actually ATM, we have 9,500 ATMs, just the bank. And so, I think you've been to Thailand. You see more ATMs than you've ever seen in your life. Anyway, you get off at a train station and just banks of ATMs, yeah. And so, the ATMs are still a really big thing. It's been a really positive thing. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today, and enjoy the rest of your conference.
Andrew, thank you. Thanks.